Hollow Earth authors suggest that UFOs are spycraft sent by aliens living inside of our Earth, inside our planet. The theory of Earth being hollow has been long discussed, and it's often linked with UFO sightings and alleged extraterrestrial encounters. Admiral Richard Byrd of the United States and his expedition to the poles levitated the hollow Earth theory, subsequently making it one of the biggest mysteries. Rodney Clough is another important name in it that has unraveled the phenomenon of appearance of aliens on our planet and other space objects. The theory of hollow Earth may someday be corroborated by scientific evidence. The structure of the planet cannot be verified empirically. The deepest well was made by the Russians and reached a depth of only 12 kilometers. This is barely a scratch on the Earth's crust. We do not have the technologies to allow us to penetrate the layers of our planet, and we do not know whether such an undertaking is even possible, let alone we are not able to either explore the ocean depths. And that's where a lot of underwater UFOs could be lurking. Now, Rodney Clough, the author of World Top Secret, Our Earth is Hollow, was born and raised in the American colony of Colonia Juarez in northern Mexico. He became interested in the hollow Earth theory at the age of 16 while he was working on a New Mexico farm where the farm manager told the workers of the theory. He was also featured in history's Ancient Aliens. The fact is that, according to the expert, humanity proceeds from an enormous concept of the structure of the Earth, and according to Rodney Clough, the Earth is only around 800 miles thick from the outer surface, and there are entrances at the South and North Poles, he says. He claims that he believes that people have journeyed into the Earth and managed to send messages back out. He says that those who lived inside regularly send out UFOs to spy on us and see how we're getting on. His passion for hollow Earth has led him to organize a 2007 voyage to the hollow Earth with a plan to set off from Russia on an icebreaker ship to find an opening at the North Pole. However, the $20,000 per head expedition was canceled. He believes there is another portal in the poles and one in the Himalayas, leading to a land that is home to immortal escaped Nazis from World War II and lost Viking colonies. I guess he was probably referring to Shambhala. Now, in the book World Top Secrets, The Earth is Hollow, Mr. Clough suggests that Earth and most of the planets, as well as the Sun, are hollow with pole openings. He covers various topics, from biblical to credible scientific evidence, to fascinating witness reports and historical myths in order to provide a broader view of the whole literature on the subject. Mr. Clough wrote in his 2008 book, Our Living Hollow Earth, that the 10 lost tribes of Israel were taken to the hollow Earth. That is where, luckily enough, heaven and hell are also located, he claims. He also believes, without any doubt, that there is another sun in the center of the Earth, and there are people who inhabit Earth's core. He says the Germans are some of the people that live inside the hollow Earth, the refugees from World War II, the Viking colonists from Greenland. Clough told Vice, obviously there has to be some Inuit down there, because whenever they were asked where they came from, they would point north and say they were from the land where the sun never goes down. He further stated that he had either seen evidence or talked to more than 10 people who made their way to the inner Earth. And this includes a German U-boat operator and an admiral who flew his plane into a polar opening into the hollow Earth. Clough has not been inside, but that is not for lack of trying. For centuries, intrepid hollow Earth theorists have been looking for entrances to the center. Some have claimed that they have made it, and this is a quest that is ongoing to this day. In 1692, famous astronomer Edmund Halley hypothesized that there is empty space inside the Earth. He suggested that underground there are two empty structures, about 800 kilometers far from each other, and according to Haley, both structures are separated by the atmosphere and rotate at different speeds, so they have their own magnetic fields. In 1818, this idea was picked up by American scientist John Cleves Symes Jr., who suggested that there are four empty spaces, 1,300 kilometers thick inside the Earth. He said that one could reach them at the poles, which in his opinion contained the entrance to this underworld. Symes even tried to organize an expedition to the North Pole, but he did not find enough funding, so the idea again collapsed. Now, scientific evidence. In 1970, the United States Environmental Service Administration, ESSA, published satellite images of the North Pole, where one picture shows a perfect rounded hole over the Arctic, and it sparked conspiracy theorists to believe the existence of underground civilizations. Since the 1970s, the discovery of two giant structures inside the Earth has baffled scientists. They are located on opposite sides of our planet, and their size may be compared to continents. Each of these structures is almost 100 times bigger than Mount Everest and is located at the core of the Earth at a depth of 2,900 kilometers. Seismic studies show that the discovered formations have a different composition than the rest of the Earth's mantle. The structure, known as an ultra-low velocity zone, ULVZ for short, is located on the boundary between Earth's superheated molten core and the solid mantle, lying directly underneath the volcanic Marquesas Islands in French Polynesia in the South Pacific, according to a study published in the journal Science. The discovery was made by researchers at the University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins University, and Tel Aviv University, Israel. They reported that the system used for this detection was originally developed to analyze distant galaxies, but ended up uncovering a mystery inside of our Earth. Geophysicists have known about these structures anomalies, generally they call them the blobs, since the 1970s, but are not much closer to understanding them today. They're among the largest things inside the Earth, University of Maryland geologist Ved Lechik told EOS reporter Janessa Duncombe, and yet we literally don't know what they are, where they come from, and how they've been or how long they've been around, or what they do. This much is evident. The blobs began thousands of miles below the Earth's surface, where the planet's rocky lower mantle meets the molten outer core. One blob lurks deep below the Pacific Ocean, the other beneath Africa and parts of the Atlantic. Both are massive, stabbing up about halfway through the mantle and measuring as long as continents. According to Duncombe, each blob stretches about 100 times higher than Mount Everest. If they sat on the planet's surface, the International Space Station would have to navigate around them. UFOs in the underworld. Based on the analysis of UFO movements and numerous observations in different parts of the globe, it can be concluded that these devices move equally quickly through the air, in water, and even inside the soil. In his book, Mr. Clough relies not only on theoretical calculations, but also on the reports of those who were abducted by aliens. He said the superior human race living at the center of the Earth considers themselves guardians of the planet, quote unquote. They regularly spy on us using spacecraft and flying saucers. They want to keep an eye on us and stop us from starting a nuclear war. The majority of UFOs actually come from inside our planet, he says. The telepathic communicator believes there are 100 subterranean cities known as Agartha Network at the center of the hollow Earth, he says. New York Times bestseller author David Wilcock shares similar thoughts as Mr. Clough. In 2015, he stated in his interview with Coast to Coast AM that an alliance of ancient civilizations lives inside the planet. These inhabitants called the inner earth their home for a long time and were about to reveal it to the humans, he said. According to his information, the human timeline appears to bifurcate with a shift in the whole nature of matter, energy, and consciousness, while the negative timeline leads to an Armageddon and pole shift. On the positive timeline, there's ascension and the advancement of souls, he details. While citing the testimony of contactee Corey Good, Wilcock claims that the tenuous relationship between the inner earth people and those living on the surface who know of their existence has become fractured in recent times. Wilcock said this military-industrial complex had formerly worked with these people and had treaties with them and is now trying to do away with them. One group, known as the Nordics, portrayed themselves as ETs from the Pleiades to the US government, when they actually were Atlantean descendants who have lived here the whole time, Wilcock revealed. Let's remember that the Atlanteans had very advanced technology. They even had interstellar travel, and they even had interdimensional travel. And I detail that in the Emerald Tablets playlist you'll find in my video playlist, Emerald Tablets, written by Thoth the Atlantean. Now, this is why, according to Wilcock, these inner Earth civilizations have come together in order to respond to the great threat emerging in recent times, and are turning to interstellar entities in hope of gaining their aid to fight the forces which are trying to destroy them. Now, the legends of inner Earth civilization. A well-accepted example of an underground world is the ancient city of Derinkuyu in Turkey, extending to a depth of approximately 85 meters. It's large enough to have sheltered as many as 20,000 people with their livestock and food sources. It's the largest excavated underground city in Turkey and is one of several underground complexes found throughout Cappadocia. The city was built in the Byzantine era, when it was heavily used as protection from Arabs and Byzantine wars of 780 to 1180 AD. The city was connected with other underground cities through many kilometers of tunnels. Some artifacts discovered in these underground settlements belong to Middle Byzantine period between the 5th and 10th centuries. There are many firm believers who think that there are many entrances to the underground, such as the pyramids of Giza, Iguacu Falls, Gobi Desert, the Andes, Himalayas, and more. And according to local legends, Shambhala is a kingdom of gods that exists both in the physical and spiritual form. There's also a reference to this mythical land in various ancient texts. There's a description of some closely related land known as Tagzig Olmo Lung Ring in the Bon scriptures. And besides, Vishnu Purana, a Hindu sacred text, mentions Shambhala as the birthplace of Kalki, the 10th and final avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu. Tibetans believe that the god's land is guarded by humans with supernatural powers and was often seen by locals. Tibetan lamas have been searching for Shambhala for centuries, and those who seek for the kingdom have either never returned, found it, or have died. The story of the two Russian expatriates, Nicholas and Helena Roerich, is the most fascinating one. The couple attempted to find Shambhala several times. In the end of 1923, they arrived in Darjeeling, India, intending to find Shambhala. Another incident that highlights the presence of Shambhala is the disappearance of the entire population of the Guj people. Archaeologists were stunned after finding various tunnels in the city of Guj. Many theorists believe that these underground tunnels could have been a passage to Shambhala, and the Guj people found it and decided to leave the surface. It's estimated that around 100,000 people vanished without any trace. There's another legend of the Hopi Indians, the Native Americans, when they were saved by the so-called underground dwellers, the Ant people they called them. During the fire, volcanic eruptions, asteroid strike, ice age, or a strong coronal ejection from the sun. During these two devastating events, the Ant people civilization hid the Hopi people in their underground caves and provided them with food and water to save them, of course. And this is by House and Wise Vicky Verma. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.